Welcome to Aha, a human among humans. Well, I'm going to try to imagine the beginning of the Arab-Israeli conflict, Israeli-Palestinian now. Let's go back in the beginning. The father of the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims is Abraham. The biblical Abraham. I'm going to imagine that I'm the biblical Abraham. Call me Abraham. I'm the father of over 2 billion Christians, over 1.5 billion Muslims, and over 3,500 years of Jews. You think you have problems with your family? A few facts about my life before we begin. When my wife, Sarah, was told by divinity, a visiting divinity, you are going to have a child within the year. And Sarah just laughed and laughed and laughed. And when I was told and heard a voice say, "You will have a child with Sarah," after I fell on my face, I also laughed. And Sarah's son, when he was born, was named Yitzhak, he who laughs. So my story, my life, the story of my life, that produced like a hawthorn tree with thousands of seeds. But for me, it's been billions. I'm like a tree that produced billions of offspring and is still doing it. This life and the story of my life is infused with laughter. You might think it's a serious story in the Bible, which it is. But the Bible is good enough to let you know, when I hear that I'm going to give birth to a son that's going to start billions of Christians and Muslims, thousands of years of Jews, I laugh. Sarah laughs, and we call the son Yitzhak, he who laughs and he who will laugh are two possible translations. So let's see if we can play and laugh with this extremely serious story. Muslims trace their origin back to me, Abraham, and then to my son, my other son, Ishmael, who was the father of the Arabs, and Yitzhak, Isaac, is the father of the Jews and the Christians. So this is a family story. It begins unusually, to say the least. It is said, my father, Terach. Someone once said we have to put the Christ back in Christmas and the back in Hanukkah. Terach has the Hach. And it says, Terach begets me. Terach alone begets me. What's going on? And when I, Abraham, now, in 2023, in the late autumn, read, because I'm lucky, I have not such a great memory, but there's a record of my life, or at least a crib sheet of it, or cliff notes of it, in the Bible and in the Quran. So I'm lucky. Some of you may have trouble, certainly at my age, remembering what happened. It's very nice to have sacred writing of what happened to you long ago. So we're told, Terach, my father begot me and my two brothers, Nahor and Haran. This is miraculous. No women, my father begot. We could use another word, which probably I'm not too comfortable using on television. A four-letter word for what begot means, but he did it by himself. And that when I read the Bible, I have a hunch, a hint of why it's right. 10 generations before Terach, this is like American Revolution time. Maybe 3 generations for 100 years, and we're not yet 300 years old. So it's before the revolution, American Revolution, before the signing of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. That's how long ago it was. Terach's great, 10 times great-grandfather, Noah, was told by divinity there was going to be a flood to flood the entire world. The grasshoppers, the caterpillars, the pigs, the chickens, snakes, all would be flooded. He had to just gather 2 of a kind to start the world all over again. He didn't protest. He took his wife, and that's the point here. She has no name. You are just my wife. That's how we'll call you. You are Noah's wife. no name of your own. And Mother Earth herself floods the earth, maybe with help from Father Sky. But it's the earth that's flooded. And so for generation after generation after that, for 10 generations, men do not mention or even see or hear women. This is my take on this. Because there's no names, not one. Noah's wife, and then after that they're not even referred to. Those are the good old days. Masculine liberation movement. Men beget. We have vaginas and penises. We are bi. And we beget miraculously all by ourselves. I can imagine my father going into a dark tent, zero light. This is way before electricity, of course. And still he closes his eyes. Can't be too dark. And he gropes around. And he finds something warm to touch and pleasurable to touch. And he uses his rod to find a nice crack. And like a hawthorn tree, produces berries, and I am miraculously, immaculately perhaps. Why not? Immaculate, not a whiff of woman. And even that is saying too much. We don't even mention, it's just not even a whiff to be mentioned. Terach begot me and my brothers. One of the brothers, Haran, also begets and he is a revolutionary. And he names his daughters. In Hebrew it's Mishka, Milcah rather, and Ishka. Milcah means queen. Ishka means sea. When he calls his daughters to dinner, Miss Milcah, Ishka, sea queen, his father, his begetting father, goes, wow, what is going on? We're revolutionizing the world. We're recognizing those invisible beings. Terach takes an idol. He's an idol maker. He makes gods. He whacks Haran across his vile lips. And Haran dies. The Bible says Haran dies before the face of his father. Why did Haran do such a revolutionary act? I can read my story. my cliff notes in the Bible. It says something remarkable. I say it a little bit later in this chapter, or the next chapter, chapter 12. I tell Sarai, who is my wife, you are beautiful to look at. No one had even seen women for 10 generations. I couldn't avoid it. Sarai, unfortunately, literally, was drop dead beautiful. And that beauty, you've heard of Helen, the face that launched 1,000 ships. Sarai began a woman's liberation movement without saying a word. Beauty has its power. You can see it in New England in the fall. Who could say how beautiful the tree is, how the leaves are? When Shakespeare tried with that beautiful sonnet, thou madest in me that time of year, thou madest in me behold, when yellow leaves or few to hang upon the boughs and shake against the cold, bare ruined choirs, where late the sweet birds sang. Boy, that sounds beautiful. And the sound ends beautifully. I'll just give you a hint. It ends with love. That you could love someone. This ruined, this bare, makes thy love stronger than death. And Sarai caused death with her beauty. It might have killed me, but we're getting a little ahead of the story. So my brother dies right before the face of my father, and then my father takes me by the arm, puts my hand on Sarai's head, and says, take her as your wife. No consulting me. You'll find out later she's actually my half-sister. Tarek had begot her too. Didn't consult her. It happened with my other brother too, Nahor. Married in the family. And then the Bible has the audacity to say, good for the Bible, Sarai was barren. She had no children. I remember in my mind, I'm not sure this really happened, but I like imagining. After I take her, and that's the whole marriage ceremony. You take this woman to be your wife, and we just took them into the tent. Another dark tent. Sarah is smart enough, my half-sister, to scratch my thighs until they bleed, wipe the sheet with my blood, throw the bloody sheet out of the tent, and I can hear the tribe cry, Abram is a man! Abram is a man! And I weep because I am not. Who could take his half-sister to be a wife? Not I. Maybe Pharaoh could. They married their sisters. Not me. And then the Bible says, Terach dies. They give big numbers like 205 years, but there's 2 harvests in Israel, so maybe at 102. And when we read later, we discover writing of his death was premature. Somehow he dies to me. Why not? How much could I take? Killing my brother, begetting me, no credit for a mother. I am truly a motherless child. I don't sing sometimes. I sing always. I feel like a motherless child. So here I am, with a half-sister I'm supposed to be married to, with a murdered brother by my beginning father. Ah! And then I hear a voice. Just a voice. Who would not hear voices? I'm sure you don't blame me. I hear a voice that says, no introduction. I have no idea what this voice is. I just know I need all the help I can get, and I'm not getting it from my understanding of life. So I hear maybe it's coming from deep within or from more than within. I don't know, and I don't care. The voice says, go to the land I will show thee. Or you, this voice doesn't use fancy words. What a gift. Get out of town. I'm told to leave my father, my kin, the land of my birth. Sure, what a nice voice, what a comforting voice, what hope. There's something in all of us that can help us, even in murderous families, even in impossible situations, traumatic, painful. Go to the land I will show thee. Now my father was planning, after he murdered my brother, to go to Canaan. It was a wild west. It was like going to California in the 19th century. Away from the civilization we were living in what has been called Mesopotamia or Sumeria. That was the educational capital of the world. Leave China out of it, of the Western and Mid-Eastern world. And I was going to go to the wild. I was told to leave my father's house, the land of my birth, the rest of this huge family, and go to the land, and I hear, I will show you. And I don't even know who's talking. And I'm going to go anyway. I need all the help I can get. This is all that I am getting. Why not go? I'm called a man of faith, but I really had little choice. I was faithful because I had to get out of anything of what I was in, go anywhere else. Go to the land. I wasn't even told what land. And then I'm told, I will make you a great nation. Very nice. As you know, it turned out more true than I could dream. And maybe, or maybe probably, or maybe surely, when you're hollowed out, when you're broken, murderous father, murdered son, married to half-sister, when you're broken and there's no hope, you feel like your parts are separating, you're cracking up, and something new inside is revealed. Underneath my personality, my persona, my social self, is a more primal and more angelic self. We were told at the beginning of Genesis, we're made in the image of God. There's also a snake in that story. We're both talking snakes. Talk about penises. We're talking snakes. And angels. More than human. And since my humanity is crushed and cracked and traumatized, I could feel the snake and the angel inside. The snake is even outside. And the angelic voices, or voice really, I'll make you a great nation. Abram was my name then. Abram, it got bigger later, you'll know why soon. Abram, I'm going to be a great nation. I'm rather impotent. Sarah and I were barren. We blamed her, of course. We now know this woman. If there's no child, it's Sarai's fault. She's barren. I will make a great nation. I hear these words. I don't even know. I will make you a great nation, and I don't even know who I is. Maybe that's part of it. Once you break aside your social personality, your persona, your ordinary self, your social self, you can discover you don't know who it is, but there's another I that is way more powerful, maybe way more frightening. I will bless you. This primal self, this angelic self, even the snake self, it's real, not a social construct. I'm blessed to be part of nature and angelic, part of the sky that makes the green leaves that the animals eat and become me. Even when I eat a ram or a sheep, I'm eating sun. I'm made out of light. Once I can take off my clothes, my personality, I won't do it on television. I will just hint at it. I will bless you and, hard to believe, this is even more beyond belief, I hear all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. Maybe that means I can help all people on earth become in touch with their inner snake, their angel, the image of God, the picture of God, their likeness with God that we're made of. All you need to do is be traumatized by father, wife, brother, and survive. Allow your primal self, including your angelic self, to be revealed. So what a gift to hear this. Gift to even tell this the night before Thanksgiving. How thankful I am to be Abram. His name will be Abraham. Now we have a hint as to why Abraham's the father of Jews, Christians, and Muslims. But let me continue the story. We set out, Sarai, my dead brother's son Lot, and other people who've been attracted to this new way to live, revealing your divinity, your real nature, your animality, your angelic nature. Come, come, whoever you are, join our caravan. And we leave with many. The Bible says, people we've made. Raw people, ore, made out of the ore of the earth. Ore people, God people. And I know, you might wonder why, to go to Canaan. So my voice didn't tell me. But my voice is like a father. My murderous father, I didn't feel any longer was. And I told you, it's even written in the Bible, he dies, even though he's going to die way after I leave. But to me, he's dead. Thank God. But he had a dream to go to Canaan, go to the wild west of California, Canaan. And I knew my father can die to me. I can take an idol and whack him across the lips too. My idol-making father, making all those gods. Not like what I heard, a deeper voice of me and through me. And I knew my father could die to me, but his dream I could keep alive. And so we set out for Canaan. And that's the start of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And we get to Canaan. It's like coming to the new world, like all Americans. This is Thanksgiving, night before Thanksgiving. We're coming to a new world, a wild west world. People live there. This is not a land without a people for me and my peoples who don't have a land. The Bible's honest. You want to find out what's going on? Read the Hebrew Bible. Canaanites were in the land, and other families and clans. And we wander in the land, and we come to an oak tree, which might not sound special to you in New England, but if you're wandering in the desert, walking for weeks and weeks, an oak tree is Mecca, California. And it's called a teaching tree. Moreh in Hebrew. And I can imagine it's hard to remember all the way back then. But I think I can see a teacher at this, not just ordinary oak, it's a great oak. And he leans me against the oak, and he takes my arms, and I hug the oak, and I kiss the oak. And I hear it's either the oak or him, this gray-haired teacher. And it says these very strange words that people are still fighting over as I speak, as you watch this. I give this land to your seed. And I don't have children yet. Sarah and I are half brother and sister. I don't know how this could be. I can't bring myself. We'll call it make love. We don't want to be coarse on TV. I can't take my sister. But I hear to this land I will give this, your seed will get this land. And we're going to continue this part of the story in the future, but I want to jump because Palestinians and Israelis have just come up with a little agreement. Hostages, women and children will be set free, and women and child Palestinian prisoners will be set free. There is, even in this murderous relationship, they've made an agreement. I'm going to say a little about the birth of my sons. Isaac, who I told you, the name means he who will laugh, and Ishmael, who means, his name means God listens. So I'm told, the land for my seed. And we're, again, fast forwarding through this story. But when I'm told this again, I rush home to Sarai, and she sees it in my eye. Wow, I could have a child. My seed could be fruitful. And Sarai says, I understand. Why don't you go into my maid, my black servant slave Hagar? You could have a child through her. I'll give birth to the child with Hagar on my knees. And so it'll be our child. And Hagar gives birth after and the Bible, the Hebrew Bible, is really down to earth and clear. It says, Abram goes into Hagar, and she conceives. And unfortunately, this lovely black slave lets it go to her head. And she looks at Sarai and says, just with her eyes, I have the child of Abram. You don't. I have the child of Abraham, you know. And Sarai complains to me, Abram, what have you done? I can't bear to live in a place like this, being looked at with contempt because I'm barren. It's what have you done or not done? It's your fault. Let's ask Yahweh, God, divinity, what he thinks. And I don't even want to do that. I say, Sarai, she's in your hands. Do with her what you want. And this might not be admirable. Again, I tell you, the Hebrew Bible tells it like it is, including who I am. And I let Sarai beat and beat and beat the pregnant Hagar until Hagar runs away. And it's said that an angel finds her. It's really me. Appearing like an angel. Different clothes. And I know her name. And I tell her, Hagar, go back to your mistress and submit under her hands. And maybe because I look like an angel, and I am. Angel just means messenger in Hebrew. And Hagar goes back. And Ishmael, my seed, is born. My voice is true. I have a son, the father of the Arabs, whose Hagar is thrown out again after Isaac is born. Isaac, laughter. Now, I am told again by divinity, this time by it introduces itself. I am El Shaddai, which means power of the female breast, a great goddess experience. Maybe my wife Sarai writ large, I don't know, but I'm told Sarai's gonna have a child. And I laugh, I fall on my face and laugh. I'm in my late 30s now, or 40s. I don't even remember. I didn't think I could have a child with anyone. I certainly didn't think Sarai could. And I laugh. And Visitors come. I still can't go into Sarai. Visitors come. And I try to be a good man, and I wash their feet, and I say, I'm going to run and get a calf for you. I say, Sarah, the first time I ever ordered Sarai, I say, Sarah, you bake some bread for these people. And I come back, and we have the meal. There's no bread. And one of the strangers, and he begins to shine. Something's happened to him. And he says, Sarai, you're going to have a child within the year. And she laughs. I'm too old. He's offended. Is there anything too hard for divinity? No pun, or maybe pun intended. So it doesn't seem that it's my seed. Not like Ishmael. Not like I go into Hagar and she conceives. Nothing like that. And we're even told in the honest Hebrew Bible that divinity by the name of Yahweh this time visits, the Hebrew is pakad, visits Sarai, no mention of me, alas, and she conceives. And we call him laughter. It's a very funny, sad, crying, wonderful story. And Yitzhak, laughter, becomes the father of Jews and then Christians. But here's the funny, tragic part. I was told the land was for my seed. Seems that Ishmael is my seed. Isaac, I feel very differently about. He's not my seed. Sarah, of course, doesn't like this. And when Isaac and Ishmael play, she's jealous and angry and worried that Ishmael's going to get the inheritance. She screams at me, get Ish, this slave. And her son doesn't even use their name. Get them out of here. And I put a jug of water and a loaf of bread on Hagar. And I again, this time I send her, but she's again out in the wilderness. And I again appear as an angel, and I let her know where she picks up Ishmael, and so therefore she can see, I point to her where water can be found. And they survive, and Ishmael can become the father of the Arabs. And I'm left with this boy who's not my seed. Ishmael is gone. Years later, I hear a voice that says, please take your son, your only son. It's the only one I have left. Take him to a mountain I'll show you and sacrifice him to me. And I know now this is my anger, my fury. This is not my seed, not my son. Because of you, Ishmael is gone. I can't just kill you. I hear this voice, this beyond me voice from deeper within me than I know. And I take him on a journey. It's 3 days. And I carry the knife And the firestone, Isaac carries the wood. Two boys come with us, his friends. They're all called lads in Hebrew. And we come to the mountain, Jerusalem, where the Dome of the Rock is now the beautiful dome, big rock. And we're at the foot, and I tell the boys, you wait here. I'm going to go worship with Isaac. Isaac says, Daddy, I see the fire. I'm carrying the wood. Where's the ram for the offering? And I say, God will provide a lamb for the offering. When I take him to the top of the mountain, I tie him up. He seems willing, like me almost. Faith is, I told him, God will provide a lamb. I'm tying him up. He's not resisting. I put him on the wood. I start the fire. I raise the knife. I'm looking at his eyes. At this moment, I can feel Isaac's laughter owes his life to me. He could die or live according to me. And then I hear, it could have been his friends, Abraham, two voices, Abraham, don't do anything to the boy, don't even lift up your arm. And I stop. And Isaac does owe his life to me. He never sees me again. Neither does Ishmael. I almost killed both of my sons. No father's perfect. But they survive and eventually thrive. And they both are my sons now. Ishmael biologically, and Isaac I adopted. He owes his life to me now. And so I have two sons. God bless them. And they're both wanting the land promised to my seed, but Isaac too is my seed now in a different way. I adopted him. He's really my son. And when I die, neither of them dare come and see me when I'm alive. When I die, they come together to bury me. No battle at all between them. They come together to bury me. So it's my prayer, Abram, that the Palestinians and the Israelis, the Jews and the Muslims, come together to bury their differences. The land belongs to both of them. We'll need probably at least one miracle, like Egypt and Israel making peace. after the Yom Kippur War. I will need one more miracle to get the sons of Isaac and daughters and sons and daughters of Ishmael, the Muslims and the Jews and the Israelis and the Arabs, to realize this is both their lands. Both are indigenous people. Both are my sons. So, I pray may we all find underneath our social selves, underneath what we think we're supposed to do, let's find our primal nature. This includes a snake, especially if you're a man. With snakes, and certainly Eve has been very friendly with snakes. So women and men.